This is News 25 with Deanna O'Donnell. News 25, local news you can count on. News is brought to you by Bees Embroidery and Garment Printing, specializing in custom and personalized decoration of gifts, garments, and more. Call 775-727-9444. News is also brought to you by J.K. Nelson Law. Call 727-9900 today for your free consultation. If you need a lawyer, you need Nelson.
Welcome to News 25. I'm Deanna O'Donnell. It's Wednesday, August 19th. Well, the wildfire on Wheeler Pass in the Cold Creek area that scorched approximately 40 acres is now 90% contained. The lightning-started fire began yesterday evening around 5 p.m. a few miles from the charcoal kilns on Mount Charleston. 2 U.S. Forest Service hand crews and air tankers were ordered to contain the blaze, which is currently being mopped up, according to U.S. Forest Service Ray Johnson. Well, the Pahrump Valley Winery won't be selling wine for the foreseeable future. Nye County Board of Commissioners Liquor Board, which voted 5-1, which includes Sheriff Sharon Worley, with a single holdout being Donna Cox, to revoke the license after the winery has been operating on the previous owner's license for over a year.
Pahrump Undersheriff Michael Eiselhoffel gave a complete timeline of the activities of the winery and county that began when the winery was purchased in 2019. This included several submissions of incomplete applications by Pahrump Valley Winery co-owner Kathy Trout. After the Undersheriff's report, he gave his recommendation to the commissioners.
By all accounts, Ms. Trout manages the business. However, she also appears to be part owner based on numerous representations Ms. Trout has made, including under oath and as discussed in detail in my report. Either way, whether she is a manager or an owner, it simply does not appear clear what her role exactly is at this point. Regardless, she should be listed on Mr. Hobbs' application as required as, quote, the individual who will actively manage the business. She is not listed as such, and the application remains incomplete and thus not in compliance. Nye County Ordinance 5.04.100A2 states that the sheriff, quote, pardon me, shall investigate the moral character of the person or persons applying for the liquor license and managers of the proposed business for which the license is sought. This investigation has discovered several issues of misconduct, non-compliance, as well as probable cause of violations of law and county ordinance. The above investigative results, including evidence and from numerous interviews of individuals with first-hand knowledge, have doubtlessly demonstrated that Ms. Trout and Mr. Hobbs do not meet the reasonable standard for good moral character.
Trout and her attorney had an opportunity to address the commissioners as well. Their explanation for the application's lack of required information was that the way the information was requested was ambiguous. The board did not feel that was sufficient enough of an excuse, as every other liquor license holder in the county was able to complete the application sufficiently. Questioning continued with regards to who the actual owner of Pahrump Valley Winery is. Former owner Bill Logan indicated that throughout the sale of the property, the name of the purchaser changed. Kathy Trout stated that she is an officer of the LLC who has their name on the documentation associated with the purchase, but when asked if she was a business partner with John Hobbs, who was mentioned throughout the meeting as being on the license application, she seemed to hesitate in answering. By the end of the meeting, the circumstances were unchanged. The county still did not have a completed liquor license application from the Pahrump Valley Winery. The winery was given extra time and opportunity to produce the needed documents and failed to do so. The BOCC was forced to continue with the revocation of the Pahrump Valley Winery's license. Under county rules, Trout must wait 6 months to reapply for a license. However, someone acting as management of the winery will be allowed to reapply for the license, but the same information previously requested will still need to be provided. So the future of the Pahrump Valley Winery still remains uncertain.
Well, Nye County continues to see a significant number of people testing positive for COVID-19, but Nye County Director of Emergency Management Scott Lewis appeared before commissioners Tuesday to report some good news in the latest numbers.
Our COVID trajectory within Nye County has continued upward since our last report. Most cases have occurred in Pahrump. Very few have occurred outside of the Pahrump borders. Good news is we're experiencing fewer double-digit days with more single days that are impacting our communities. However, we have had 3 additional deaths occurring this past weekend. For those that are monitoring, within the last week and a half, we've reconciled many of the cases to recovered status, and our current number, which is increasing daily, but is at 204 recovered status. Our hospitalization appears to be stabilizing in both Pahrump and Las Vegas. We're cautiously optimistic with that report. Our testing continues. We have completed over 6,000 tests with long lines experienced last evening, which is a good sign. The testing process is still thought to be one of the best ways in preparedness and to understand where we are as a baseline.
I'd like to see on your reports about one number that strikes me, and it was mentioned already, the pre-existing conditions. I'd like to see that in those reports. I think that's a relevant piece of information.
When we do the contact tracing, we ask what some of the underlying medical may be, but it's usually specific to that individual. It wouldn't be appropriate for a report purpose. We could simply list that there were underlying medical,
So
something
I think
along
you
those
just
lines.
the question. I think you just answered your own concern, which is you can state that yes, there was pre-existing condition and just put a dashboard.
If they're willing to provide that, we could probably capture an essence of it. I'm not sure exactly how detailed it would be, but we could try.
More news, including your Business First brief, after this break.
You're watching News 25, the most recognized and farthest reaching local news in Nye County. News 25, local news you can count on. This segment of the news is brought to you by P&P Property Management. Knowledge, experience, communication, and trust. Call Cynthia at 775-727-4444.
Welcome back. Well, the Postmaster General is preparing to answer questions on Capitol Hill. Arizona residents are among the first to receive new unemployment benefits, and Boeing has answered a new round of job cuts.
Here's Angela Miles with today's Business First Brief.
Topping our news this Friday, Postmaster General Louis DeJoy will answer senators' questions about disruptions at the U.S. Post Office. The Washington Post reports lawmakers are alarmed by delivery delays and mailbox removals. Speaker Nancy Pelosi has House members returning Saturday for a vote on $25 billion in additional funding for the Postal Service. Arizona residents are among the first to receive the extra $300 in weekly unemployment benefits. It's coming from President Trump's executive order. Boeing plans to make a new round of job cuts. This time, 16,000 positions will be eliminated. Boeing has lost hundreds of orders to build jets. Payless is walking back into business. The company is dropping Shoe Source from its name and will relaunch in North America online and in retail concept stores starting in Miami, Florida.
Thanks again, Angela. Well, like we told you earlier, some good news. Only one new positive COVID-19 test result has come through in our area over the past 2 days. Overall, there has been 442 confirmed cases of COVID-19 positive test results. Chemisys Laboratory is testing, and they offer a drive-up COVID testing right here for Nye County and surrounding communities. You can go to that testing in the Calvada Eye Monday from 7 p.m. to 9 p.m. and Wednesday and Friday 7 a.m. to 9 a.m. You don't need to pre-register. All you need is your ID and your insurance card if you have insurance. If you don't have insurance and you don't have symptoms, you can still test. They're testing at Serenity Health at 2280 East Calvada Boulevard, number 301 in Pahrump. People will be lining up in the Calvada Eye. You can also make an appointment for COVID-19 testing or antibody tests here in Pahrump and surrounding communities. You can give them a call, 702-234-5398, for Tonopah, 775-302-5800, or 775-482-9898. Well, Republican lawmakers got together in Pahrump on Tuesday to talk about the differences between red and blue. Nevada Assemblyman Gregory Hafen II and U.S. Congressman Jim Marchant says it's more important than ever for Republicans to get out and vote this November.
Today we're talking about the Democrat National Convention that's going on this week, and to kind of just highlight some of the radical left-wing ideas that are being pushed forward.
Everybody can see what a dumpster fire the Democratic National Convention is right now. There's a huge contrast between what they represent and socialism. We represent freedom. They represent socialism again. We represent free market capitalism. They want to take away our freedoms. We want to increase our freedoms. So there's a huge contrast between what they want and what we want. We're doing a lot of work right now trying to help people understand really what's going on and get them out to vote.
It's so important for people to get out and vote. I've actually been on the phone with our local clerk, our Secretary of State's office. A lot of good things and a lot of good changes that are happening, and I'm going to speak to that here in a little bit. But the Secretary of State's looking at implementing new regulations on how that would work. They're trying to take the designation of whether you're a Republican or a Democrat off of the exterior of the envelope, which I personally think is the right thing to do, is to have those designations removed. And then there's also the Secretary of State's implementing a new regulation, or trying to, that would require anybody that's harvesting 10 or more ballots would have to register with her and report back to her to try to ensure that there's still some voter integrity. I was talking to San Merlino yesterday, and she is planning on having all of her polling locations open and available to anyone that would like to go and vote in person. You can actually also bring your mail ballot in and deliver it right there at the polling place or at the two clerk's offices.
We're here for a meet and greet here at the Nye County Republican Party office, and we've invited a lot of people from Pahrump to come down and hear myself and Greg Hafen. Of course, both of us are running for office that represent this district, and obviously we want to get the word out, and we want to talk to everybody we can and let them understand our policies and our stances on what we'll do as a legislator representing Nye County and Pahrump.
And I'm definitely going to encourage my fellow Nye County residents to please vote Republican. The Democrats control the governor's office, the Senate, the Assembly, and it's been a really ugly situation with a one-party system and a national agenda being pushed.
More news when we return after this break.
You're watching News 25, brought to you by Mountain West Lawyer, Injury Attorneys, 727-9500. News 25, local news you can count on.
Well, the number of COVID-19 cases reported among teens continues to climb. So what can be done to help stop the spread? Skylar Colati, a doctor with Cleveland Clinic's children, says, for starters, remind them that they're not invincible. Anyone can get the virus.
Many children are generally healthy, which is great, but others are not. We do have an obesity epidemic in adolescents, and many that have kidney disease, hypertension, asthma, those chronic illnesses. So even looking at themselves, they can reflect and say, you know, actually, I do have a little bit of a higher risk.
The CDC offers some easy ways for kids to stay safe. For example, they can still socialize with friends, but at a distance. If they're hanging out in person, they should keep at least 6 feet apart and also avoid hanging out in big groups. Good hygiene is just as important. Teens should routinely wash their hands and properly cover their nose and mouth when they cough or sneeze. As for masks, Dr. Colati says those are critical. She knows they can be uncomfortable, but just like anything else, they'll eventually get used to them.
There is very clear evidence to support that people wearing masks will be much less likely to both transmit and acquire COVID-19. So it's really critical both to protect the child and those around them if they were asymptomatic and at risk for passing to wear a mask.
Dr. Colati says parents shouldn't just tell their kids what to do, but show them as well, because setting a good example can make a big difference.
Well, it's Wednesday, and that means it's time to meet another great pet available for adoption from Desert Haven Animal Society. Today, Darby O'Donnell introduces us to Cleopatra.
Today's Save a Pet is proudly sponsored by Jason Ernest with Mountain West Lawyers. Call 775-727-9500.
Hi, I'm Darby here at Desert Haven Animal Society, and today we are joined with Cleopatra. Cleopatra is a gray tabby with medium long hair. She is a little angel. She's so cute. She's really chunky. She's very affectionate. She purrs so loud. She likes to go and make mush, and she's just a sweetheart. Definitely want to come and see her in the cat room. Give them a call ahead of time to make an appointment. 775-751-7020. You can look them up on their Facebook page at Desert Haven Animal Society. And just a reminder that they do offer specials for seniors with free adoption fees, And they also have a veteran program for active and retired military. So if you want to come and see this cute little meow meow, give them a call ahead of time, make an appointment. 775-751-7020. Okay, bye. You want to say goodbye? She purred for you all.
News 25 Weather Cam is brought to you by Lerner and Rowe Injury Attorney's Office in Pahrump. In a wreck, need a check? Call 702-877-1500.
I know that we had some crazy weather going on yesterday afternoon during news time. Let's take a look outside right now. And we still had some clouds. It looks like a little bit of that monsoon's kind of hanging around a little bit. We're going to find out what's in store with John Kohler after this break.
News 25 weather is brought to you by Dairy Council of Nevada. The splash of cream in your coffee, the dollop of sour cream on your burrito, the melted toasty cheese on your pizza. Undeniably delicious, undeniably dairy. Enjoy what's real.
Hi, good evening, Nevada. It's John Kohler from the KPVM Weather Studios. We've got the weather, and again, it's hot. How hot is it? And tonight, if it was like Thai food, this would be about like a number 7. I'm going to call it a number 7. It's cooling off just a little bit. That's actually good news because that puts an end to the power conservation measures that they've been asking us to do, not use the AC so much during the hottest parts of the day. So that ends tonight about 10 o'clock. And let's just look up and down the great state of Nevada. Fernley, of course, 98 degrees, 62 at night, and 100 degrees in Fallon with 61 as a low. Carson City, our capital, 94 and 60 degrees for a low. It's actually, as we march on down, it's kind of seeing this trend. It seems to be down everything 4 or 5 degrees from yesterday and earlier this week. 96 and 64 today in beautiful Tonopah, Goldfield. You're seeing a lot of 97 degrees as a high. 64 degrees for a low, and beautiful Beatty, 108 degrees, 75 for a low. Oh, what do we got in Amargosa? 112 degrees, Majestic, 78 for a low. It sounds actually pretty nice. 114 in Vegas, and 87 for a low, of course. And we're seeing Death Valley setting all kinds of records. Seems to be down just a little bit. 122 degrees as a high today, 93 for a low. Good weather for ice cream. Delicious ice cream from the Dairy Council of Nevada. 109 degrees currently here in Majestic Pahrump. It's high today, down just a couple degrees. 111 degrees we had for earlier. Wind. Whoa! What happened to the wind? Were you guys? Did you get part of that wind last night? This is okay. This is a new word for me, so I'm just going to tell you because, and you probably already know. I'm kind of new to town. A haboob. All right. It's a high pressure cell, basically a giant dirt devil. Whirling dervish, whatever, little mini cyclone, came north out of the valley, went across the dry lake bed, picked up all kinds of dust, and just made a mess out of some parts of town. All the way at the end of the road, we heard localized reports from the chicken ranch that it was raining. So, and then just for a minute, and then it's gone. So it's a haboob, something to watch out for. Who knew? Who knew? Let's see, sunrise this morning at 6:05. It was nice. Relatively haboob free, although they did seem to have a lot of dust in the clouds still, and couldn't really see the stars just like I like out here in Pahrump. 109 degrees currently. Winds picking up to 12 miles an hour. It's you might see some haboob weather. Look at that. Humidity at 20%. It's going to be a little dewy. All right, let's look at the extended forecast as we go on through the week. Let's go this way. Okay, Thursday, Friday, Saturday, Sunday, Monday, Tuesday. Look at all these temperatures. Yep, it's still hot as blazes. 109 degrees, 108, 106 this weekend. Looks like some angry clouds, but are we going to see a lot of precipitation? No, I really don't think so. 105 degrees Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday. Yes, we love nothing but consistency, and that's all right by me. Consistently hydrate yourself and take care of yourself, Nevada, and back to the latest at the desk.
Thanks so much, John. Well, we have a special birthday today. All of us here at KPVM-TV and Ace Country Radio want to wish a very special happy birthday to Alexis Marie Judd. She just turned 12 today, and we want to say very, very happy birthday to Alexis. And that's going to wrap up this edition of News 25. I'm Deanna O'Donnell from all of us here at KPVM-TV and Ace Country Radio. Have a great night. We'll see you back here tomorrow.